So lovelies, let's start crafting and make it till our eyes smile. That's what I like to say. Today's Leenys Shabby Tuesday, and joining me is my friend Becky at Kinda Shabby. You will love her channel. She loves Shabby Beautiful just as much as I do. You would absolutely love what she does. Very creative, very Shabby Beautiful. I will leave the link to her video and to her channel in my description box. And tell her Miss Krafty Leeny sent you. DIY number 1. We're going to start with this Dollar Tree little ornament sign and take everything off. We're going to put this little metal, I don't know, decor part of it. I'm going to call it decor part of it. We're going to put it aside. Now, I'm not going to use the gnome side. I don't know, it's just too cute to cover up at the moment. I'll probably end up covering it or painting it. You can if you like, or you can decorate that side. I got some craft paper from Hobby Lobby, and all I did was trace it out, cut it, put some Mod Podge down, and then I love this Mod Podge spray, and I just spray a little bit on the back of that paper, and then I'm just going to press it right there to make sure no wrinkles and bubbles are there, which I find spraying it on the back side first keeps it from all that stuff. So now I'm getting my plaid paintbrush. I used to use sponge brushes. You can use that, but I'm using the paintbrush just to smooth out my Mod Podge spray. Now I'm using Folk Art. It's home decor chalk paint in the color Plaster. Plaster gives it kind of like an antique-y white, and I like using that one more than just the bright white, but you can if you like. But I'm using Plaster today. So you see me putting it a little bit heavy on the edges of the ornament. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the brush and I'm going to lightly bring it in to the center. And don't forget, we're doing Shabby Beautiful, so it does not have to be absolutely evenly perfect. You want it to have that shabby feel. So now I'm also using Plaid Folk Art wax in the brown, and all I do is I wet a piece of napkin, I damp it, and then I put that wax on top, and then I dab it in different spots on my wax paper, and then I start wiping it right on the edges and on the sides where I want it to look antique. And the reason why I do that is because now I can choose how much I want on my napkin by going to the side and going where I put a lot of it, the wax, and where it's medium wax and light wax, and I kind of control how much is on my napkin that way. So you'll see me go back and forth to them. And then I'm just going to rub along the edges so it's a little bit darker, and I just keep building on that. So you go, you wipe, if you want more, you put a little more, you rub a little harder. I don't know, that's how I do it, and I think it works fine for me. But you will find whatever makes your heart sing and your eyes smile, what is easier for you to do. But I use the paper towel method, and I just keep building on it. If you want it darker on the sides, you can even add some more brown wax to the side. So now I'm getting the little metal ornament, top of the ornament, and I'm just going to dab it with some wax just to make it look a little more rustic. You can use that, or you can use the plaid acrylic paint in burnt umber, and you'll get that same effect. And I'm going to just hot glue it right there on top. I like using the black glue so you all can see where I'm putting the glue and how much I'm using. So now I'm pressing down to get that to stay, and I'm going to get this Mod Podge in satin, and I'm just going to do one more coat over my ornament. I know we did spray it, but after we did the waxing, now I'm going to do one more thin coat, not a lot, just thin, around the edges and all over. I try to go in one motion so it dries evenly. So I'm going to wait till that dries, and once it fully dries, I'm going to get these floral picks. I call them floral picks, but floral bushes, floral picks. I get all these at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut a piece, 2 pieces off, because I'm going to use them for more projects. And that's what I do. Sometimes I just take it apart and then I start saying, how much am I going to use? You can use evergreen, you can use pine cones, whatever you want. At this point, we are just going to embellish and make it shabby beautiful. I'm getting some old, as you can tell, that one I've used many times, pulling pieces off. And then the berries I got last year, look at, you can tell it was from my stash. There was a piece of string hanging from it, and I'm like, get off. And for some reason, every time I went back to it, that string was there. I don't know, maybe it just wanted to say hello to everybody. Go away, string. So now that I got my pieces, now we're going to start gluing them to our ornament. And I'm going to start with my greenery first. And I always put things, I don't know, I always like try to lay them before I glue it to see what it's going to look like. Always play with your project. Look before you glue. And if you're not happy and your eyes aren't smiling where it's placed, pop it back off and re-glue it somewhere else or put something else. That's the beauty about when we craft and do our own DIYs, is that we make it till our eyes smile, our hearts sing, and we're like, yep, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want. You can put whatever florals, colors, ribbons, paper. That's the beauty of it, is we're creating it to what we love and makes our hearts sing and eyes smile. I can't share that enough with y'all. So I'm just putting little pieces here and there, just to what I'm happy with and my eyes are smiling. Gorgeous. So now these little flowers, I get a bush of these from Dollar Tree, and they go a long way when you're shabby beautifuling things up. I love using them. I think they're dainty. They're so pretty. And they're the perfect ivory color. You can use them for fall, Christmas, summer. I mean, those flowers go a long way, right? From the Dollar Tree. So I just cut the little bottom. I pull them off, cut the bottoms, and then I just glue them to where I want. Now the ribbon is also from Dollar Tree. I love this lace ribbon that Dollar Tree carries. They carry different ribbons, so you can have whichever ribbon, whatever one you choose, that's what you go with. But I love this ribbon. It reminds me of Shabby Chic Beautiful, very antique looking. I just love their lace ribbon. And I just made a little tassel with the little pieces of fabrics that I had with the buffalo check. I thought it went well with the black and white music note paper. Now this here is a piece of a doily that I had cut out. It was scrap, but I did get them from Panda Hill. You get a pack of doilies, and what I did was I cut it and just the middle of the doily out, and this was left over from a previous project that I had done, and I thought, this will look really pretty on this ornament. You can use ribbon, whatever you have on hand. If you don't have the doilies and you don't want to do this, you can put a ribbon and it'll look just as gorgeous. And I put that little shabby bow right there on the side. Love the music notes, so pretty. So now I'm just gluing the edges because I want it kind of to curl around the bulb a little on the side. And I'm looking at it going, it needs one more. I know what it needs. It needs another berry right there up on top. Something else. I know. I'm going to add some pearls to it. So I just added pearls right in the center of each little doily flower. And those I did get at the Dollar Tree. They have different sizes of pearls. You could put gems, you could put little paper flowers, anything you like right there in the center or on the ribbon. Gosh, you could do so many ways. Decorate this so many ways, right? You can stand this on a plate stand, on a shelf, on a table, hang it on the wall, or you can add it to a beautiful wreath that you're making. You can decorate so many ways with this beautiful ornament. So now I'm just going to add my lace ribbon to the top so I can hang it. DIY number 2. I'm going to take a bottle. You can use a jar or a bottle, whichever one you want, but I choose to use a bottle today. I'm going to use plaid folk art, home decor, chalk paint in the plaster color. And I'm just going to do a rough coat. It doesn't, like I said, have to be perfect because we are doing Shabby Beautiful today. So after I did like 2 coats and wildly painted it. Didn't expect it to be perfect because I like that shabby feel to it. And after I painted it, I let it set. And now I'm getting my plaid folk art wax in brown. And I am just going to kind of put it on my napkin. It's a little damp. And I add them both together, and I'm just going to wipe down my bottle a little bit. And some of the paint comes off. I kind of rub it off on certain spots, but that is okay because that's the look I'm going for. I do get my brush with a little bit more of that plaster chalk paint, and I'm just going to do a light dry brushing all the way around, just to lighten some parts of the dark brown that I added. And now I'm just going to let it dry. As it's drying, I'm going to get me some craft paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. And for the ornament, we used the black music note paper. And now for this project, I'm going to use a lighter color with music notes on it. I thought they kind of matched and it was a romantic feel to it. So now I'm getting my brush and I am just going to go along the edges of the paper that we cut, and I'm going to get that wax and I'm just going along the edges, kind of like what we did with that ornament. I'm going along the edges, a little heavy on the sides, and then after I did that, I'm just going to get my napkin and I'm just going to rub some of the excess wax off, and I just keep doing it until my eyes are smiling and my heart is singing. So there you see me put a little bit heavy on the wax on the edges, and then I get my napkin and then I just kind of rub that. And I go to the sides and I go different angles because I want it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I want it just to be all along that paper. And you'll see me put it towards the middle also. And I bring it downward, again on the edges, go out, and then I'll go inward. And there you have it. If you want the edges to be a little more darker, go ahead and add more to your sides. So now I'm getting a little bit of that paint. It's also plaid folk art, and it's the Treasure Gold. I absolutely love using this. It is kind of like a gold leaf when it dries. Beautifully done. I love, 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 I can't even say it enough, this gold. Well, I'm just getting my paintbrush and I'm lightly going over the sides. I rub some of it off just to lighten it up. And then I did it on the middle of it, just here and there, just so I can have some gold tones in that paper. You can see the notes. So pretty. Oh, gorgeous. So now I'm going to get, again, my Mod Podge in satin, and I'm just going to give my bottle a coat. The whole entire, the neck, the top, the sides. I'm just going to do the whole entire bottle with that Mod Podge. And now I'm adding to the back of my paper, and I don't put a lot. I just put a really thin coat, and we're just going to add that paper right to our bottle. And then I added one more coat of the Mod Podge around my label. I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. As it was halfway dried, I decided to add some gold shimmer to my bottle. And I just lightly put a little bit of paint on my brush and just started putting it in different spots of the bottle, just to give it that shabby shimmer. So now I'm going to get some of this Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm going to cut just about 2 to 3 little strips. And then the fabric I got from the Dollar Tree. I like to get their 100% cotton fabric. They do sell them there in the crafter section. And sometimes I'm watching TV and I just do little snips and do little strips. And that is great to do when you're relaxing watching TV, because then when you're crafting, they're all ready to go for you. The black lace I did get from BB Craft. I will leave that link in my description box for you. I love getting those BB Craft lace because you get assortments of different types and different widths of lace, and they come in assortment of colors, and you get quite a bit of them in one package. So I'm always happy to get my lace from BB Craft. So now I just got a piece of that ribbon and tied it right there in the center and made a little shabby bow. I'm going to get that same lace and I'm going to cut a little piece and I'm going to just double knot it right there around the neck of the bottle. I turn it and lay it the way I want it to stay. And then I add a little bit of glue right in the center of my shabby little bow, and I glue it right to the center of that knot. So now we're just going to add some greenery right to our bow. And I always just tuck it right under the bows so you won't see it all building, and then the bow kind of goes around it. So now I'm adding some berries in there. Again, I'm going to tuck it right under the bow. And I do place things and look at it before I do glue it, just to make sure that's where I want it to be. And don't forget, once you glue, oops, sorry, there's Scraps. He's saying hello to a neighbor. Always remember, if you're gluing something and you want to change it, you can. Just pop it off and change it. I do that all the time. So now I did add some more of those cute little Dollar Tree flowers. I just pull them off, and then I cut the backing off and then glue them. I glued little berries up behind it on the side of the little flower. And then I'm getting that lace, and I just cut right there in the center and then pull, and it just rips. And I like that because it gives it a little more of a shabby beautiful feel. Now these little rhinestone stickers, I get this from the Dollar Tree. They come in gold and lavender pinks, and they come in this really pretty silvery color. And I just cut a little bit of that, and I wrapped it right there on the top of the bottle head. So I'm looking at the bottle, and I think it needed something towards the bottom, and I decided to use one of my wax stamps. I used the wax in gold and my little stamp with the gears on it. I thought it went perfectly with the music note label, and the gears for it just represented, I couldn't get that out, represented a music box to me. I thought it went really well. Tell me what you think. Did you like it with the little wax stamp or without? And which one was your favorite? DIY number 1 or DIY number 2? Oh, I absolutely love them both. I hope you enjoyed Leeny's Shabby Tuesday today. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. I would really love for you to be part of my Krafty Leeny World family. I post weekly videos. It was my pleasure crafting with you all today. Start crafting and make it till your eyes smile. Hugs, kisses, and fairy dust wishes, lovelies. Stay kind, be kind yourself and others. I'll see you in my next video.